It wasn't pretty at times, but the Tigers got the job done as they move on to the second round of the NCAA tournament.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to rock and roll. It's a special Friday. Happy Friday, by the way. Special Friday. I've been teasing this all week. I'm super excited about this. It's our very first Friendship Friday. We used to do this on the golf podcast that I do every so often. We'd have some listeners jump on, but today we have the barn takeovers, but now we're going to start doing on Fridays. We're going to bring a member of the barnauburn.com on to join in the fun. Today we have our very first Friendship Friday guest, Mr. Mischief, aka Caleb. Thanks for joining in, man. I'm ready to talk about this Auburn basketball game. How you feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I was feeling shaky after the first half, but second half was a lot better. Still some question marks, but
absolutely. For sure, man. We'll dive into all those details in just a second. But before we do that, we got to give a shout out to Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. Go to UncleKeith'sRedSauce.com. Use coupon code TheBarn25 to take 25% off. Save big, buy in bulk. Hey, if you live in the state of Alabama, you can also go to any Publix. If you live in the Birmingham area, you can go to any Piggly Wiggly. If you don't live close to any of those, just check out the website. Auburn family. Show them some love, show them some support. They're obviously big Auburn fans. I know they were excited to get through this first round, get it under our belt, and move on to the second round. Show them some love. Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. It's good, y'all. All right, Caleb. So Auburn wins 83-63. It was not pretty at times, downright sloppy at times. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. Auburn looked at times maybe even a little bit uninspired.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Alabama State came out ready to play. They're fired up after their big win. And Auburn jumped out to a lead, and then Alabama State goes on a 9-0 run. And if it wasn't for Miles Kelly hitting 3 after 3, this could have been a lot scarier after the first half. I guess the one thing, and tell me what you think about this. Going into this game, you kept hearing Auburn's lost 3 out of the last 4. I'm worried. I'm concerned. Can they turn it around? I could be wrong, but I don't know that this game did anything to quell any of those fears for that particular Auburn fan, or even,
Sure.
media that may have those opinions. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, the media is never going to be nice to Auburn.
Sure.
That's just how it's going to be, I guess. Losing those last few games wasn't really a concern to me. You lose to Tennessee, a 2 seed. You lose to Alabama off of a nice shot by Sears in overtime.
Sure.
Another 2 seed. Then you lost to a 4 seed on the road without your point guard. Not really concerned about any of those. What I am concerned about, and you kind of already hit it, passes were atrocious. Some of our effort plays, efforts were good in moments. Effort was really, really poor in other moments. That's concerning. And then free throws. Dude, we shot 51%. 56%.
Hey, 56. Hey, don't cut us short. We got to 56. Yeah.
From free throws. And that's not how you win championship.
That's not how you win tournament games for sure. Yeah. Free throws, I don't know what's going on. Typically, when I look at free throw percentage, if Johni and Dylan shoot free throws, I almost just don't even count them. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. That just is what it is. They're not getting any better. Those just are what they are. But I mean, you had Denver missing 2, which is uncharacteristic. You had Chad missing 1, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, Denver missed 1 maybe 2 on the front end of a 1-and-1. That's just like missing 2 free throws.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. And to speak to what you were just talking about, it felt like we couldn't even get in a rhythm on offense. We couldn't even get our plays called. We were just shot chucking at times. And again, if it weren't for Miles Kelly jumping out and hitting his first 4, was it first 4 or first 5 in a row? I think it was his first 4 in a row.
4, yeah.
From 3, he ended up hitting
11 of 35.
He ended up hitting 7 of 15 from 3, scoring 23 points. I mean, to me, if it's not for that, we're in scary territory going in this first half. But Auburn does kind of pull out to a point lead, and you're thinking, oh, okay, all right, we got to a 10-point lead. Let's just go ahead and put our foot on the gas. And I think I said to you, I think how Auburn comes out of this halftime will determine a lot about how I feel about Auburn and what kind of run they can make moving forward. And they came out and a little bit better, but still saw some of the same things and ended up cruising to a fairly easy 20-point victory. I think it was like a 33-point spread. I just don't know. I still don't know how to feel. I guess I'm not as mad, but I still don't 100% know how to feel. Talk me off the ledge.
No, I think I'm right there with you on the ledge. From 3, we didn't shoot well at all, which is uncharacteristic for this team.
That's 3 games in a row now.
Yeah, I think I was wrong earlier, but if my math is right, we were 11 from 35 with Kelly from 3, and then 4 of 20 without Kelly.
Yikes. That's not going to get it done. Your last 2 tournament games in the SEC tournament, you shot under 30% from 3, and you just barely eclipse 30% from 3 in this game. And again, that's mainly coming off of Miles.
Sure. And then that brings up the question: Are we just cold, or did we peak too early?
That is $1 million question. I would say that because even in our losses there towards the end of the end of the year, even in some of those losses against in the Alabama game, I still think we shot close to 40% from 3. Shooting under 30% or around 30% from 3 is very uncharacteristic. I never really saw it as sort of like a crescendo and a slow decline. Like it was like the last 3 games have just fallen off a cliff. So,
and when we did make a run, it was the opposite. In 2019, it was
you got hot.
We got hot. I mean, Bryce Brown tore it up every single game.
Yeah, you got hot in the SEC tournament, and then you turned around and you kept the hot shooting. I guess. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't want to say peak too soon, but maybe it's something that could be. It could be it could be an Achilles heel moving forward if they don't figure out how to start making shots. Again, shot selection, moving the ball, getting the open looks. When Kelly was making those threes, they were set plays. He was getting really good looks. The ball was moving. It was popping, getting to him, and he was knocking down the shots. And then we would go into just the shot chuck mode. Tahaad had some.
And that's what kills us.
Yeah,
when you're cold, you're cold.
Exactly. Just start chucking shots. Got to quit. You got to get Johni closer to the basket and away from the 3-point line because he can't help himself.
He can hit that shot, but it's one of those things where you're 0 from 3. Let's call it.
Yeah.
Let's end it.
Let's get to the basket.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some individual performances. Obviously, we talked about Miles Kelly. Miles Kelly, to me, he scored 23 points, hit 7 threes. Miles Kelly, to me, is the only player that I think I could look at and say he gave championship effort on both sides of the court for as long as he played. He played, let's see how many minutes he played. He played 31 minutes. He gave championship effort, I think, for 31 minutes. That's big. This team, we've kind of always said one guy could get hot at any point in time. You don't have to necessarily depend on one. It was good for him to get that. Talk about Miles' performance today.
Yeah, absolutely. He tore it up. I mean, offensive, defensive, from the three, getting rebounds. He's your MVP.
Sure.
You kind of hope that he stays hot through this tournament. You need him and Denver really to set your perimeter so that
Yeah.
Broome doesn't get double teamed every single time we get the ball down to him, and he probably will anyway. But if those two get hot, I mean, sky's the limit. But it goes back to like, gotta hit threes.
Got to hit threes.
Kelly was the only one that could do that today.
For sure. Johni, 14 points, 11 boards. Didn't feel like it, though. I don't know. It didn't feel like he scored 14 points. He didn't really assert himself very much, I felt like. And then we talked about – go ahead.
Yeah, no. Something in the back of my head tells me he's not 100%.
Still not 100%, yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't – because if you go look at his non-con, even early in the season, through some SEC play, it's just it's a night and day different person. He's still putting up really good numbers. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't know.
I know I'm with you, man. It's the electricity, the bounce, the pop in his step. Like it doesn't feel like it's there. It doesn't feel like it's there.
Something feels off. Yeah.
Doesn't take much contact to kind of get him off balance. Just missing some bunnies. He wasn't that bad. He had a pretty good percentage today. He was 5 of 9 from the field, which is not bad. And then that was with 3 misses from 3. So I guess in reality, he was 5 of 6 from the field. But hey, why is he only taking 6 shots? Or why is he only taking 9 shots and 6 of them for 2? Like, we got to feed him inside a little bit more. I'm sure there's some schematic stuff that I just don't understand, but I want him away from the 3-point line.
Yeah,
we got to feed it inside. One bright spot. Go ahead. No, I was going to say another bright spot, and we talked about this too earlier. It felt like there was a conscious effort to feed Chaney, and Chaney had a good game. He's been completely non-existent for the past several games. He scores 13 points, grabs 7 boards, which is really good, and he was very efficient, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 or 4 from the line. You cannot put a value on that. That's massive. Chaney,
no, absolutely.
Got to have Chaney to make a run.
That's actually what I was about to say. It was Chaney also went 5 of 9, or 5 of 9.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Huge. And we haven't had that the last few games. We haven't had a lot of bench points the last few games, and you lose the last few games. So, it goes to show the value of your bench. Tahaad too. He had a really good game. 5 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3. 28 minutes. He played a lot.
This is what Todd's got to do. Tahaad's got to get to the hoop. He has the ability to break a guy. He has the ability to beat his guy off the dribble and get to the hoop. And he settles too much. I think he settles for threes a little bit too much. He banked one in today for an and one 4-point play. He did score 16 points, made some really good plays, but a couple of his better plays to me were cutting and slashing to the hoop and running the floor. And I think we need to see a little bit more of that. His shot selection at times is questionable.
Yeah,
he gets in Chuck mode sometimes. But he also is one that was non-existent, I think, in the tournament. So he's one that it feels good to kind of see him, put some points on the board. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, he hadn't made a 3 since Ole Miss.
Wow. So that's, he hadn't made a 3. He didn't make a 3 at all against Tennessee. I don't think he made a shot against Tennessee, actually, but he bounces back, has a pretty good solid game. You got to have him perform. Denver's my guy. I've always said I think we've only lost one game where Denver scored double digits, and that was against Alabama, I think. Or maybe it was Tennessee. I think it was actually Tennessee. He scored 10 points against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And we lost. That was the first game all year, I think, that we lost, that he scored double digits. He was kind of quiet offensively. 1 of 5 from 3. Got a couple shots blocked, too, from 3. Played pretty good defense, only 8 points. Got to get a little bit more out of him if you're going to make a run. And then
Right.
the biggest disappointment of the night to me, or the day, was Chad Baker-Mazara. I felt like he had, and I don't want to bang on him too bad. Like, I don't want to just pile on. It is what it is. But it felt like there was he was just not locked into the game. It didn't seem like there was much effort on the offense or the defensive side there. Got to get Chad locked in if you're going to make a run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. One of 5. 29 points, 1 of 9 from the floor. Yeah,
1 of 9 from the floor.
Yeah,
Ooh,
5 points, 24 minutes. I don't know.
Can't do that. Got to figure out a way to get him engaged and back.
But
back in.
He did offer really good defensive minutes. I mean, he had 2 or 3 blocks, I think.
He had a couple good times. He was getting beat early in that first half. He was getting beat off the dribble, just like cake. And it's like, man, if that's happening against Alabama State, what was the guy from what was the Creighton guy that scored like 30 points in that day? What was his name? Jaleel or that's gonna be a matchup. Yeah. And Jemiah Neal. That's gonna be a matchup. And if these guys are blowing by you, that kid's gonna have a field day. So definitely got to have a little bit more out of Chad. Let's talk about a couple of areas of concern. We kind of touched on them a little bit. What's the biggest get right? What's the biggest get right that Auburn's got to get done to be able to go Saturday and take down Creighton, who looked very impressive, and head to the Sweet 16?
Free throws. I mean, easy.
Knock down your free throws. Lock the gym, and don't come out until you get your free throws.
What I don't understand is Broome can hit a 3 pretty consistently. He shoots 30, above 30%, but the dude cannot make a free throw, and
it's the craziest thing. He can shoot. Yeah. He can shoot with his right hand. He can shoot with his left hand. He can shoot with bodies draped on him. But you put him on a line where there's nobody around him, and it's like getting the yips in golf. He just can't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd almost want him to just granny ball it. Just throw it up there.
Just get it up there. Worse. Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, I've seen there's videos out there. There was a collegiate guy that was granny shotting free throws this year, and he was like 98% or something like that from the line. If it works, find something that works, and it's got to work, because teams are just going to start fouling him. I mean, I would just start fouling him him
and Cardwell both. I mean, neither one of the big guys can make a free throw.
Yeah, it's foul Cardwell, and it's like a turnover. So
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Creighton. So Creighton takes down Louisville, just pretty much as embarrasses them, 89-75 in front of essentially a complete home crowd. It was full of Louisville folks. I will say I was a little bit concerned, but I started looking at their statistics, and they shot that second half. They came way back to reality as far as shooting 3-pointers and things like that. Typically, they're about a 33% 3-point shooting team, and they average about 9 threes a game. Well, they hit 9 in the first half, and they ended up only hitting 11 total for the game. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I know you watched a little bit of that game. Overall, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that game? We don't have a time yet, but how do you feel about the second round matchup?
Yeah. We've done a really good job this year defensively of limiting good 3-point shooting teams.
Yes.
So if that's what they're going to fall back on, I like our odds. What worries me is kind of what you said earlier is the really good point guards that can drive and do a layup, get fouled, do a layup, assist, dish out. That's more so what I'm concerned with. Because Alabama State, like you said earlier, they did that.
They got to the hoop,
point guards. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not too concerned about the 3-point.
I'm not
say that, and they'll probably shoot 75%. But
I'm with you, because like I said, I don't think that's really their game. Is not necessarily chucking up a bunch of threes. They just don't hit them at a super high clip, and they only average hitting about 9 a game. So that's just not really – I'm not expecting them to go hit like 15 or 16 threes on us. One thing that Louisville never did Caleb, and I don't know if you saw this, noticed this. Stephen Ashworth was their point guard for Creighton. He had a great game. They let him come all the way up the court to the three-point line before he had anybody giving him any type of pressure. And they never adjusted. They never changed a single thing. They never pressured him. You can guarantee that that's not going to happen when he faces Auburn. Denver's going to be picking him up at about half court, maybe before. And I think it's going to make that offense a lot more frustrating. It's going to make it a lot more frustrating to get into that offense. I think that could be something that's something that you're going to see. That's going to be a lot different look when Creighton has the ball. It's not going to be as easy to just walk it all the way up the court and get into your set. I'm like you. Anytime you got guards, it's a guard-centric, guard-heavy type offense. I like Auburn's chances. The big guy is what gives me a little bit of nervousness. Ryan Kalkbrenner, Big East, I think, player of the year like 3 years in a row. He started off the game really hot, and then I don't think he scored much in the second half, but he can bounce inside, he can play outside, he can shoot a 3. I mean, he's a 7-footer, and then he hits his free throws too when he gets to the line. What do you think about that matchup? Kalkbrenner and Broome.
Yeah, sure. I think of Texas A&M. I think of Florida, 2 teams with big guys underneath. That's concerning. It is, but if we run Broome and Cardwell at the same time, I like that a lot better.
Sure.
Be fun. And at the end of the day, trust BP. Yeah,
you got to. Caleb, man, I appreciate you jumping on. Our very first Friendship Friday guest. Just absolutely killed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you fired up for Saturday? We got to get past the weekend. Got to get past the weekend. Got to go 2-0 and get to Atlanta. Are you like me? Do you feel like if we can just get to Atlanta, that's all I've been worried about. If we can just get to Atlanta.
Yeah, get some momentum. Get some momentum to move forward. Really.
For sure. It'll be Auburn versus Creighton. They have not released the game time yet as we are recording this episode, but we look forward, obviously, to that game as Auburn tries to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16. If you want to be a part of Friendship Friday, it's pretty simple. Sign up for thebarnauburn.com, hit me up, and you can jump in here on one of the Fridays. We're already booked out now for like 6 or 8 weeks. So we got members lined up, ready to jump on, and it's an honor for you to jump on, be the first one. Before we get out of here, we got to give a quick shout out to mybookie.ag. Use coupon code BARN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. I hope you didn't bet Auburn first half. Like I said, you should have bet.
Yeah,
because
right.
if you did, you probably lost your free play. And I apologize for that. I'm not necessarily known as a great handicapper. But easy deposit, easy withdrawals. Check them out, mybookie.ag. Guys, thanks for listening. If you like the video, like it. If you like the channel, subscribe to it. We're going to be back again soon. We'll break down the game with Zep, and we'll talk later on this weekend about the game, and we'll go live on Sunday and recap the weekend. Great week of shows. Thanks again for listening. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay button.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.